wrong. That sort of sounds right, but that's not it at all. In order for you to give yourself a plus up there, two things have to have happened, both of them. And if they haven't both happened, you can't give yourself a plus. The first one is the obvious one, and that is that you got the definition right. But here's the other word that's so important. It's kind of the key to this whole method, and that is immediately. No hesitation, no thinking, no looking up, no stroking your chin. You just saw the word and you knew the definition immediately. That's what a plus is, okay? So if that's a plus, then what's a minus? Well, two possibilities. The first one is the obvious one. You got it wrong. But the other one would be what? How else could you give yourself a minus? Yeah, hesitation. So that means you got it right, but you hesitated for a few seconds, for 5 or 10 or 10, whatever, however many seconds, but you didn't come up with it right away. Okay, so that would be a minus. A lot of people, when they first tried this, they said, I felt really weird giving myself a minus up here because I got it right. That seems sort of weird, but it's how fast you come up with it that indicates whether you give yourself a plus or minus. Okay, after you do that, you go through the next card, you go through all your cards, make these little scores up in the corner. After that, take a few minutes and go back and study them, especially the minuses, and then put them away and leave. And go away for a half hour or an hour or 2 hours, and then come back, grab the whole stack, go through all of them again. Same thing that you did the first time. Give yourself another score right next to the first one. Study them, go away, come back. Same thing over and over again. Okay? That's the first difference between this and most ways of studying flashcards. But the other thing is, once somebody understands this and they say, okay, I get it, so you give yourself pluses or minuses, and they say, how many times do I need to do this? Am I going to be going through this and marking scores like all the way around the card or what? And the answer is no. There's good news here, and that is that there's a goal when you're doing this, and there's something that seems sort of special about this goal. When you reach it, you can take that card and you can put it in the done pile, and you don't even have to look at it anymore. You don't have to study it at all. And this is the goal. This is what you're going for, is 3 pluses in a row. Okay, not just 3 pluses, but 3 pluses in a row. So if you're trying to learn a vocabulary word, and the first time you test yourself, you don't know the answer, and you give yourself a minus, and then you study it. Later that day you come back, and this time you remember it right away with no hesitation. That's a good sign. Does this mean that you've mastered that word? What do you think? You got it right immediately once, but once is not enough. You come back later, and maybe you get it right perfectly immediately again. That's a good sign. Later that day, the next day, you come back and you try it again, and this time, for some reason, you mess up. You either hesitate or get it wrong, so now you have a minus. Well, what does that mean now about this word? What do you have to do? You have to basically start over, right? The next time you get a plus, let's say, well, that's 3 pluses, but it's not in a row. So then you go here, and then maybe finally you do it, and there are your 3 in a row. Okay. Some vocabulary words you're going to get right the first 3 times immediately, and so then they're done. So you start with 50, and if you keep doing this and you go over them and over them, the stack starts shrinking. That always makes you feel better because you think, I'm getting it.